You need to watch this if you crave chills down your spine. Welcome to Soul Studios. Here, true crime meets the unknown. Suspense lurks in every shadow, and supernatural forces whisper from the dark. We craft chilling, edge-of-your-seat short stories inspired by the eerie, the unexplained, and the most haunting mysteries. 3 new stories drop every week, each one darker than the last. Are you ready to step inside? Subscribe now before the next story finds you.
Have you ever felt the presence of someone you lost, like they never truly left? In this hauntingly beautiful tale from Soul Studios, a grieving mother and her young niece share a quiet home filled with echoes of the past, until a whispered confession from the child reveals something impossible. What follows is a gentle, emotional journey through memory, mystery, and the kind of love that doesn't end, even when someone's gone. If you've ever hoped for a sign, or believed that love can reach across any distance, this story is for you. Subscribe to Soul Studios, where the supernatural meets the soul. New stories every week that are gripping, heartfelt, and just a little too real. Don't miss what's waiting in the quiet.
Night has settled deeply, wrapping the house in silence. I sit alone in the dim glow of a single lamp, its light barely stretching to the corners of the living room. The air tastes of dust and quiet. Even the old clock on the mantel seems hesitant to tick too loudly. This used to be a sanctuary filled with laughter. Now, it's an empty shell of memories. My home feels suspended in time, too still, as if the rooms themselves are holding their breath. I run my fingers over a framed photograph on the side table. In it, Tyler's gap-toothed grin shines bright on his first day of school, tiny hands hoisting an oversized backpack. That day feels like yesterday, his excited feet pitter-pattering down the hallway, his giggles echoing off these very walls. Sometimes I imagine I still hear those footsteps racing toward the kitchen, or feel the whoosh of him darting past, phantom sounds from a life now gone. Each imagined echo makes my heart clench with longing. The reality hits anew. The hallway is empty and the laughter has faded into memory. It's been months since Tyler passed, and grief still visits me in waves. By day, I manage to smile for others. By night, the facade crumbles. I often find myself wandering into his old bedroom, drawn by habit and heartbreak. Tonight is no different. I gently push open his door, and the scent of stale sunlight and his favorite vanilla-scented soap greets me. I've left everything in its place. Action figures lined up on the shelf, his drawings taped crookedly on the wall, and a pair of small sneakers still by the bed as if waiting for playtime. In the hush of this room, my chest tightens. The urge to hear his voice, to have any sign of his presence, wells up so strong that I choke on a sob. My sister thought having my young niece stay over tonight would ease my loneliness. So 4-year-old Lila is here, offering a dose of warmth to this cold, empty home. She is asleep now in the guest room down the hall, but earlier her sweet presence brought small comforts. The patter of her little feet, her innocent questions, the way she hugged my leg and told me everything would be okay. I recall how she toddled after me at dusk, her stuffed bunny under one arm and Tyler's old teddy bear clutched in the other, determined to keep me company. In her bright, curious eyes, I see reflections of Tyler's spirit, curiosity, affection, and that fearless belief that the world is full of magic. Still, as comforting as Lila is, when the world goes dark and silent, my grief amplifies. I settle back into the living room couch, pulling one of Tyler's blankets around my shoulders. The blanket is thin from countless washes, its edges frayed from where he used to chew on it absent-mindedly. Holding it now is both solace and pain. Solace that it once kept him warm, pain that it's all I have left to hold. I close my eyes and breathe in deeply, trying to catch a lingering hint of his shampoo or the chocolate cookies we baked last summer, anything that proves he was once here. Instead, I smell only dust and my own lonely tears. Earlier tonight, before Lila drifted to sleep, she and I shared a tender bedtime conversation. I remember tucking her in under Tyler's old starry print blanket. The soft glow of a nightlight painted golden shapes on the walls as rain gently pattered against the windows. Lila's big brown eyes looked up at me, shining with a question that only a child's heart could form. "Auntie," she whispered, tiny hand gripping my fingers, "do you think Tyler can come visit us? I miss him." Her voice was earnest and a little hopeful, as if she were asking if her friend could come out to play. The simplicity of her question pierced me. I felt a sting in my eyes and swallowed hard, trying to find words. How could I explain the permanence of loss to someone so young, someone who still believed in miracles with every fibre of her being? I smoothed back Lila's curly hair and mustered a gentle smile. "I miss him too, sweetheart," I replied, my voice soft and trembling. He's in heaven now." I paused, wondering if I should say more. At 4, Lila only vaguely understands what heaven means. For her, it's the place beyond the stars where Grandma now lives, a place you can't visit until you're very old. "He might not be able to come the way we want," I continued carefully, "but he's always with us in our hearts. Maybe he can see us even if we can't see him." Lila considered my words, her little face scrunched in thought. Outside, a low rumble of distant thunder sounded and she squeezed my hand. "What if we ask him nicely to visit just for a little while?" she said. "Maybe he misses us too." Before I could respond, she closed her eyes, as if making a wish. In the quiet, I heard her murmur under her breath, "Tyler, if you can hear me, I want to play with you. Please come see us." My throat tightened. Her innocent plea hung in the air, achingly hopeful. I didn't want to crush that hope, so I simply kissed her forehead. "That's a beautiful wish, Lila," I whispered. "Tyler would love to play with you if he could." Lila smiled sleepily and hugged Tyler's worn teddy bear closer. The bear was one he carried everywhere, its fur matted from years of love. Tonight, Lila insisted on snuggling it. "It's like Tyler's giving me a hug," she had said earlier, arms wrapped around the bear as if around her cousin. The sight had brought both a smile and a tear to me. As Lila's breathing evened out, drifting into dreams, I lingered by her bedside for a moment. Her innocent faith was contagious in its own quiet way. In that dimly lit room, with the scent of lavender baby shampoo and the sound of rain tapping the roof, I allowed myself a fragile sliver of hope. What if love really could reach across the barrier between life and death? I closed my eyes and sent up my own silent plea, born of desperation and love. "Tyler, if you're out there, please, just for a moment, let me know." On the way out, I left the door open a crack so Lila wouldn't feel alone if she woke. As I tiptoed back to the living room, I mulled over something I once heard my grandmother say. She used to claim that children have a special knack for sensing spirits, their hearts so pure that the veil beyond life doesn't seem so thick to them. Kids notice things grown-ups don't, she'd insisted whenever someone dismissed a child's imaginary friend or strange sighting. Standing there in the hush, I wondered if Lila's pure, unbroken belief could truly bridge the gap between our world and Tyler's. Could a little girl's wish call a spirit across the stars? The rational part of me wavered, but a softer part, perhaps the part that was a mother missing her son, clung to the possibility. It's past midnight now. Lila's wish and my own desperate prayer echo faintly in my mind as I sit cocooned in Tyler's blanket on the couch. The rain has stopped, only a gentle dripping from the eaves remains. The house is oppressively silent. I reach for the TV remote, thinking some low music might ease my anxiety, but before I can press a button, I sense it. A subtle change in the atmosphere. The air in the room feels different, like the hush before someone speaks. A faint chill brushes the back of my neck, though the heating is on. My skin prickles with goosebumps. I glance around, heart beginning to pound. It's just my imagination, I assure myself, a routine I've practiced on many lonely nights. But then I hear it. A nearly imperceptible scratch on the hardwood floor by the hallway, as if a small footstep has just scuffed it. I hold my breath, ears straining. The sound doesn't repeat. My eyes dart to the lamp. It suddenly flickers. Once, twice. The light dims, then brightens again without warning, as though an unseen hand toyed with the switch. I sit bolt upright. That lamp has never flickered before. Its bulb was new last week. My pulse quickens, and I clutch the blanket to my chest. This can't be a coincidence. A familiar tingle of electricity hangs in the air, I recall reading once that when lights act up for no reason, it can be a sign that a spirit is near. The logical part of me tries to dismiss it, probably faulty wiring or the aftermath of tonight's storm. Yet a tiny voice in my head whispers, what if it's him? I slowly rise to my feet, heart thudding in my ears. The living room stretches out in elongated shadows. Every shape, a high-backed chair, the coat stand by the door, suddenly looks eerily like a figure lurking just out of sight. I wet my lips, which have gone dry. Tyler? I whisper into the stillness. Hardly aware I'm speaking, my voice sounds very small. Only silence answers. I take a tentative step toward the hallway that leads to the bedrooms, the floorboards groaning softly under my weight. The air grows colder the closer I get to the hallway entrance, as if I've stepped into a pocket of winter. My fingers graze the wall for support. The house is dark back here. Only a weak nightlight from Lila's room casts a sliver of illumination onto the floor. I stare down the hall, my eyes adjusting to the dark, and that's when I see it. At the far end of the corridor, just outside Tyler's bedroom door, there is a faint glow. It's subtle, an outline of pale light about 3 feet off the ground. It wasn't there moments ago. My breath catches. The light wavers like a reflection on water, and then it slowly moves. The outline steps forward, rounding the corner into the hall. As it approaches, the form clarifies from a glow to a gentle apparition. My hands fly to my mouth, stifling a gasp that rises from the deepest part of my soul. It's a boy, small and translucent, bathed in a silvery light. He's wearing familiar blue pajamas with little rocket ships on them, the same pair I had dressed Tyler in on so many cozy evenings. His hair is an unruly cowlick of dark curls, his features, oh God. My knees nearly buckle as recognition floods me. It's Tyler. My Tyler, standing there in the dim hallway, impossibly here. A strangled sound escapes me, half sob, half laughter of disbelief. Tears instantly blur my vision, but I don't dare blink, afraid he'll vanish if I do. My mind whirls. Is this real? Am I dreaming or losing my sanity? I feel the hot roll of a tear down my cheek and the pounding of my heart against my ribs, so visceral and alive. If this is a dream, it's unlike any I've had before. Tyler's figure doesn't fade or morph like in dreams. He stands there clearly, watching me with soft, curious eyes. He steps closer, and the light surrounding him seems to pulse with each small footfall. I notice how my body reacts. Shock, yes, but also something unexpected. Calm. There's an absence of the terror one might feel at seeing a ghost. Instead, a gentle warmth spreads in my chest, a sense of comfort enveloping me as his eyes meet mine. It's as though my soul recognizes his without fear, only love. Despite the impossible sight before me, I feel a calm wash over me, a reassurance radiating from him. My racing heart begins to steady, and a fragile smile finds its way to my lips amid the tears. Mothers know their children, and my spirit knows this is him. Tyler! I manage to croak out again, voice trembling. He smiles. Oh, that smile, the same slightly shy, lopsided grin that used to melt my heart. At the sound of his name, his eyes light up with a familiar mischief, as though we're playing one of our old hide-and-seek games, and he's delighted to be found. That expression, so achingly Tyler, erases any lingering doubt. This is real. His spirit is here with me, drawn across the boundaries of existence by love, by longing, and perhaps by a little girl's innocent wish. For a long moment, I am frozen, drinking in the sight of my son. My lungs forget to breathe as I memorize everything about this moment. The gentle glow outlining his small frame, the way his pajama shirt wrinkles slightly at one shoulder, the wispy curl falling over his forehead. His image flickers ever so slightly, as if he's made of soft candlelight given human shape, but he remains present and clear to me. Tears overflow freely now, sliding down my face. I don't wipe them away, I barely notice them. All I can see is him. Tentatively, I take a step forward. My legs feel leaden with emotion, but I manage another step, then another, until I'm only an arm's length away. Tyler looks up at me the whole time, patient and calm, those big brown eyes watching every move I make. Up close, I see his lips quiver as though he wants to speak but isn't sure how. He seems a bit shy, unsure of my reaction. The thought brings a faint, astonished laugh to my lips. How is it that he can seem so real, with such recognizable expressions? Slowly, I sink to my knees on the hardwood floor, so I'm at eye level with him. My hands are shaking uncontrollably. I reach one hand forward, hesitant, needing to touch him but scared that I'll pass right through, or worse, scare him away. Tyler tilts his head, then lifts his own small hand, mirroring me. For a heartbeat, we hover in that strange half-light, my hand inches from his, both of us uncertain. Then our fingers meet. A soft gasp escapes my lips. I can feel him, faintly, but I do. It's like a gentle static or the lightest pressure of a cloud against my skin. My fingertips don't fall through empty air. They press into something warm and tingling. A sob of relief and joy breaks from me. I cup his little hand between both of mine instinctively. The sensation is surreal. I can't feel the full, solid warmth of a living child's hand, but there is a definite presence, a resistance that meets my touch. It's as if I'm holding a beam of sunlight or the memory of a hand. Tyler's eyes well up too now, twin shimmering tears that somehow do not fall, as if the laws of gravity are kinder to ghosts. "Mommy," he whispers, and the word is so soft, so familiar that it unravels me. It's his voice, airy and distant, echoing as if spoken in a high-ceilinged church, but his, unmistakably. I have heard that beloved voice in my dreams, in my memories, and in my heart every day since he left, but hearing it aloud again is like feeling the first warm ray of spring after a brutal winter. I pull him into an embrace, wrapping my arms around his slight form. For a second I worry I'll just clasp through emptiness, but I don't. There is substance to him in my arms, hazy and light, but there. A broken laugh of pure gratitude shakes through me as I hug my son for the first time since I lost him. "Tyler, oh my baby!" I cry into his shoulder. His form is cool, like a breeze off a lake, but where my tears fall onto his neck, I see them absorb into his ghostly skin, almost as if he's real. He smells faintly of something sweet, like cotton candy and sun. The scent is so comforting and so Tyler that fresh tears come. "I miss you, Mommy," Tyler mumbles against me. I can feel a subtle vibration in his chest as he speaks, as if even in this form, he's trying to breathe out words. I squeeze him tighter, afraid to let go, lest he disappear. "I miss you too, sweetheart. I miss you so much," I manage to say between sobs. I'm holding him, touching him, hearing him, and for a moment, all the emptiness inside me is filled with light. We stay like that, entwined in a silent hug that speaks more than any words. I'm vaguely aware that the house around us seems to hold its breath in reverence. The ticking clock has gone quiet. The drip from the eaves has ceased. Time itself might have paused to give us these precious seconds. Finally, I lean back just enough to see his face. I brush a curl from his forehead. My fingers pass right through the strand of hair, and I chuckle softly at the oddity of touching but not fully touching. Tyler giggles, a tiny sound, as if it tickled when my hand went through him. That sound, like wind chimes and little boy laughter combined, makes my heart soar. Are you okay?" I ask gently, needing to know. My eyes search his, and in them I see a wisdom and peace that eases some long-held fear in me. He nods slowly. "I'm okay," he says, and a hint of pride colours his voice, as though he's proud to report this. "I'm happy, Mommy. It's so pretty where I am, but I saw you were sad." His expression dims, brow furrowing the way it used to when he'd see me cry. With a small hand, he pats my cheek, catching a tear. The droplet shimmers on his finger before fading like dew in the sun. "Don't be sad," Tyler continues, voice as tender and earnest as ever. "It's not forever. I'm always around, even if you can't see me." A hiccuping sob bursts from me and I nod, pressing my forehead to his. I want to tell him I'm sorry. Sorry for every time I wasn't there enough. Sorry I couldn't prevent his illness. Sorry for the nights I collapsed under the weight of my grief. I tried to be strong for you," I whisper, guilt and love entwined in every shaky word. "I'm sorry if I ever let you down." Tyler pulls back slightly, and in a heartbreakingly mature gesture for a 7-year-old, he places his palm on my heart. "You didn't, Mommy," he says, and though his voice is wispy, there's firm conviction there. "You were the best Mommy. I felt so loved every day." I can't stop the tears flowing down my face as I cover his hand with mine, nodding. He continues, "I remember all the happy times, like when we baked cookies and you let me lick the spoon, and when you read my favourite bedtime story 5 times in one night." He gives a ghost of a laugh, eyes shining at the memory. I laugh too, sniffing. You always begged for just one more story, I say, my voice full of fondness. My mind flashes to those evenings, Tyler in fuzzy pajamas, snuggled against me as I did all the character voices from his storybook. That life feels a world away, yet here he is, bridging that distance with shared memories. He nods eagerly. I still know the three little bears by heart, he declares softly, almost proud. Then his face grows somber. I remember when I got sick and you stayed with me in the hospital bed and sang our song. My throat tightens, a fresh wave of emotion wells. That was our last night together, me humming his favourite lullaby, stroking his hair as machines beeped softly in the background. He had been so brave, even comforting me when I struggled not to cry. I wasn't scared, Mommy. Tyler murmurs as if reading my thoughts. I wasn't scared because you were with me. A soft light seems to glow within him as he speaks, and I feel a warm thrumming in the air, like the house itself exhaling a sigh of relief at these long unspoken truths. I cradle his face between my hands, thumb grazing what should be a warm, rosy cheek, but feels like cool air that somehow has shape. I love you, Tyler, I say, voice breaking. I have always loved you, and I always will. Not even death could ever change that. These are the words I've whispered into the dark every night since he passed, hoping somehow he'd hear. Now he smiles and closes his eyes, leaning into my touch. I know, Mommy, I love you too, forever. My vision swims with tears, but through the blur I see Tyler's gaze drift down the hall toward Lila's room. Lila! She called me, he says quietly. I heard her, and I heard you. He looks back at me with that innocent frankness only a child can muster. I came because you both needed a hug. A soft laugh escapes me, half sob, half joy. Even in death, my little boy's first thought was to comfort us. I gather him into my arms again, rocking slightly on my knees like I did when he was a toddler with a bad dream. Thank you, I whisper into his hair. I don't specify for what, there's too much to list. Thank you for coming, thank you for loving us, thank you for giving me this miracle. Tyler just hums contently, a sound that vibrates faintly through my body. For a moment, all is right in the world. My grief is eclipsed by an overwhelming gratitude and love. In this small corridor of a silent house, a mother and her son, divided by death but reunited by love, share a moment of pure grace. But even as I hold him, I feel a subtle shift in the energy around us. The silvery glow encasing Tyler seems to be pulsing faster, flickering at the edges. His form, once so distinct, starts to blur softly like fog thinning in the morning sun. Panic flares in me. I tighten my embrace, unwilling to let go. Stay a bit longer, I beg, my voice cracking. I knew this reunion couldn't last forever, but God, how I wish it could. I feel him squeeze back, with arms that suddenly feel smaller and more fragile in my grasp. I can't stay much more, Mommy, Tyler says, sounding regretful. His voice echoes faintly as if moving away, though he's still in my arms. I nod, throat too tight to speak. Of course. Whatever bridge he crossed to be here, it's closing. I knew we'd only have a sliver of time. Still, it hurts, like losing him all over again, a knife twisting in my heart. He must see the pain in my face, because he brings his hands to my cheeks, wiping at tears with ghostly thumbs. It's okay, he says with that same reassuring tone he'd use when I fussed over a scraped knee he'd gotten, roles forever reversed, my little one soothing me. I'll always be with you. Just because you won't see me doesn't mean I'm not there. I bite back a sob and nod, pressing my forehead to his, our noses almost touching. His form flickers once more. I feel it like a brief falter in the pressure of his presence. I'll be okay, I whisper, more to convince us both. I promise to be strong, for you and for Lila. Tyler smiles, a brilliant beam of light and love that I swear illuminates the dark hallway for an instant. I know you will, he whispers. You're the strongest, Mommy. The flickering intensifies. Each time his body becomes a bit more translucent. I can see through him now to the wallpaper behind. The realization sends a cold ache through me, but I force a smile for him. I won't let our last moment be full of sorrow. I hold his shoulders, looking deep into his face, committing every detail to memory. The curve of his eyebrows, the tiny dimple in his left cheek, the way a single curl always falls over his right eyebrow. I'll never forget you, baby, I say. Not a single day, he nods solemnly. I'll never forget you too, Mommy. I'll watch over you and tell Lila I love her. His voice is barely audible, a breath within a breath. I can hardly see him now for the tears. I manage to say, I will. With that, Tyler leans in and presses a feather-like kiss to my cheek. It's so subtle, like a cool breeze kissing my skin, yet I feel it with every inch of my soul. It's the same cheek he used to kiss every night at bedtime with an exaggerated wah sound. I close my eyes, letting a final tear fall as I whisper, "Goodbye, my angel." When I open my eyes, the hallway is empty. Tyler is gone. Only a faint glimmer of light remains, swaying in the air, then dispersing like dust catching moonlight. My arms are still outstretched where he had been. Slowly, painfully, I let them fall to my sides. A hollowness settles in me, sharp and deep. Yet within that ache, there is also a strange peace, as gentle as the last note of a lullaby. I can still feel the impression of his little arms around my neck, the echo of his voice in my ears. He came. In our darkest moment, my baby came back to give me hope. I don't know how long I remained kneeling there on the floor, staring at the space where Tyler stood. Eventually, a soft shuffle behind me breaks the silence. I turn to see Lila in the hallway, rubbing her sleepy eyes, Tyler's teddy bear trailing from her hand. She looks confused, perhaps drawn from sleep by some sense of the extraordinary. For a heartbeat, I wonder if she saw him, if her innocent eyes perceived what my grown ones almost couldn't. Lila blinks up at me, then at the empty hall, and gives me a fragile smile. "He was here, wasn't he?" she asks in a drowsy whisper. My breath catches. I can only nod as fresh tears brim. Lila toddles forward and wraps her free arm around my neck, her tiny face pressing into my shoulder. "I knew he would come," she mumbles. "He told me in my dream that you'd be okay." I squeeze my niece tightly, emotions swirling but strangely light. "Thank you, sweet girl," I whisper into her hair, voice trembling with gratitude to whatever kindly force in the universe allowed this night to happen, and to Tyler for keeping his promise. Lila's only response is a soft hum as she cuddles closer, her warmth anchoring me to the present. Over Lila's shoulder, my eyes catch a glimpse of something on the floor by my knees. A single white feather, small and downy, the kind that might escape from a pillow. But there are no feather pillows in this house. A tiny smile touches my lips. I pick it up gently and tuck it into my pocket, a keepsake of this impossible reunion. The night sky outside is beginning to lighten. Through the window at the end of the hall, I see the deep navy of night softening to dawn's grey. We must have been together for hours, though it felt like mere minutes. Time lost meaning while Tyler was here. Now, in the early creeping light, reality settles gently back in. I stand, lifting Lila in my arms. She's already half asleep again, head heavy on my shoulder. I carry her back to the guest room and lay her on the bed, tucking the covers around her tiny form. She sighs contentedly, still clutching the teddy. As I brush a kiss on her forehead, she whispers without opening her eyes, "Love you, Auntie." I whisper back, "Thank you for helping me remember that magic can happen." Leaving her to rest, I make my way to the living room once more. The house feels different now. The shadows aren't as long or as dark. There's a pre-dawn glow filtering through the sheer curtains, painting the room in hues of gentle blue. I sink onto the couch, utterly exhausted yet somehow renewed. My eyes land on the photograph of Tyler that I'd held earlier. For the first time since his death, I don't feel the usual stab of pain looking at his smiling face. Instead, I feel a warmth blooming in my chest, a tender happiness that we smiled together again tonight. I realised something profound in this quiet moment, the fear that haunted me since Tyler's passing, the fear that he was truly gone, unreachable, forever out of love's reach, has lifted. I know now that love reaches beyond the veil of death. I felt it in his hug, heard it in his voice. Our bond, the love between parent and child, is stronger than anything life can shatter or death can divide. Tyler's visit, as brief as it was, stitched together some of the wounds in my heart. The grief isn't gone, tears still dampen my face, but alongside it there is a newfound peace. I walk to the window and draw the curtains slightly. Outside, the world is waking up. The rain-soaked street glistens under early light, and birds are beginning to chirp tentative morning songs. A gentle breeze stirs the trees, carrying the clean scent of wet earth. I close my eyes and inhale deeply. The air no longer feels empty, it feels full of life. and perhaps, just perhaps, full of the spirit of a little boy watching over us. Before, I dreaded the coming of each day because it took me further from the last time I saw my son alive. Now, dawn feels different, a quiet promise that he'll be with me in a new way. Not physically, no, but in memory, in spirit, in the subtle signs I'll be paying better attention to. I make a silent vow to myself I will live, not just exist, in a way that honours Tyler's life and gift of this reunion. I'll make my days worthwhile. Tell Lila more stories about her amazing cousin and keep Tyler's playful, loving spirit alive in our hearts. And when sorrow visits, as I know it will, I'll remember this night and find strength. I'll remember that at my lowest, love found a way to reach me. As the first rays of golden sun break over the horizon, I feel their warmth on my face and whisper a final message to wherever Tyler is. Thank you. I'll be okay. In the gentle silence that follows, I swear I hear a faint echo of a giggle and feel the lightest brush against my cheek, like a tiny hand giving one last wave. I press a hand to that cheek and smile through fresh tears, knowing it wasn't just my imagination. The long night has passed, and with the morning light comes hope. Tyler is gone, but he's not lost. He lives on in a place beyond pain and fear, and he lives on here in our home, in our laughter, in Lila's innocent faith, and in me. Love, I realise, is a bond that even death cannot sever, an unbroken connection from my heart to my son's, stretching across any distance. To anyone listening to my story, perhaps carrying a grief of your own, I want you to know this. Those we love never truly leave us. In quiet moments, in cherished memories, and sometimes in the most unexpected ways, they are with us. My night of miracle with Tyler's spirit has shown me that love is stronger than grief, stronger even than death. And as I step forward into the light of a new day, I do so with a heart, while still aching, is full of gratitude and comfort. Thank you for listening to this heartfelt journey. May it bring peace to anyone who is grieving and serve as a gentle reminder that love endures beyond this life, shining like a guiding star in even the darkest night. Thank you, and may you find hope in every new dawn. Sometimes the ones we've lost find a way back, not to haunt us, but to heal us. In the quiet spaces between heartbeats, their love still lingers, guiding us through grief with a gentle hand. Because when the bond is deep enough, even death has to listen. When love echoes through the silence, it leaves footprints only the heart can see.
Every story has an end, but here, the mysteries never stop. Thank you for watching and being a part of this journey into the unknown. Your support keeps these stories alive, and there's plenty more waiting for you. We drop 3 new stories every week, so if you crave suspense, the unexplained and the downright chilling, make sure you're subscribed and ready for what's next. Until then, keep your lights on, your doors locked, and remember, some stories stay with you long after they're told.